We bring you the latest updates from the Pna Newsroom. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. will raise the status of the Philippines European Union Generalized Scheme of Preferences Plus or GSP Plus in his meetings with EU leaders. The Philippine delegation will be meeting concerned officials of the European Commission, the European Council, and the European Parliament to discuss the country's EU GSP Plus privileges. Last February, the EU Parliament threatened to hold the country's trade privileges amid allegations of human rights abuses and lack of press freedom. The Department of Trade and Industry said the Philippines will seek to renew its participation in the GSP Plus and pursue a free trade agreement with the trade bloc. Trade Secretary Alfredo Pascual cited the country's development such as a change in government leadership, a shift to a preventive and rehabilitative approach to illegal drugs, and a new commitment to work against climate change. The Philippines and EU started exploratory talks for a bilateral free trade pact in 2013, but negotiations were stalled in 2017. Under the EU GSP Plus, the Philippines enjoys a free tariff for over 6,000 products entering the EU market in exchange for committing to conventions on human rights, labor rights, environmental protection, and good governance. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BFAR, will open up a review of Fisheries Administrative Order Number 195, which allows traders to import frozen fish for large buyers like restaurants and hotels. During the public hearing of the Committee on Agriculture, Food and Agrarian Reform, Officer in charge Demosthenes Escoto told the Senate that BFAR is responding to calls to spare small retailers and instead go after importers who violate the order. He told senators that the review will include stakeholders of fisheries, market vendors, and supermarket and grocery owners. He said they hope to come up by next year with a more responsive and more efficient regulation on the importation of fish and fishery products. Earlier, lawmakers and stakeholders questioned BFAR's decision to ban the sale of imported fish such as pampano and pink salmon in wet markets. The Bureau of Immigration is all set for the opening of Kalibo and Aklan international airports in Aklan as they accept flights from Taiwan this month. In a statement, Commissioner Norman Tansinco said he already instructed the Port Operations Divisions to ensure that enough personnel are deployed to the airports to address the increased number of passengers. He noted that the inaugural flight from Aklan to Taipei by Royal Air is scheduled for tomorrow. On the other hand, Tansinco added that Tiger Air will be launching its Kalibo-Taipei-Kalibo flights on December 29. Initially, the airline company plans to mount 4 flights to Taipei every week. Meanwhile, POD Acting Chief Carlos Capulong revealed that passenger arrivals in the different airports are now averaging at between 25,000 to 27,000 a day in the past several days. Tansinco is anticipating a continuing increase in international passenger volume in all of the country's international ports next year as travel restrictions continue to relax. And in sports, Team USA is coming to the Philippines to play its group phase in the 2023 FIBA World Cup. FIBA announced today that the host countries have selected preferred teams to play the group phase in their respective countries. The United States of America will play in the Philippines, Slovenia, and travel to Japan, and Canada will go to Indonesia. As host of the group and final phases, the Philippines will play in Pot 1 along with other best-ranked teams after the last window of the World Cup qualifiers in February 2023. FIBA said the Philippines and USA will be placed in 2 different groups out of 4 that the Philippines will host. 2 groups each will play in Japan and Indonesia. The FIBA World Cup draw will be held in Manila on April 29. And that is the latest and the biggest stories from the Pna Newsroom. For more news content, visit our webpage or head onto the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. We are also shown on the pages of the Office of the Press Secretary and on Radio Pilipinas RP1. I am William Theo. We tell stories that inspire change. Good evening, everyone.